What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to basketball, and more importantly, welcome back to Bleacher Report. Two of them in a week. AVC's going back to his roots, man, and by that I mean just ripping off Bleacher Report and just reacting to their content, because that's original. But the question of the day, what every team must fix during the 2025 NBA offseason. I figured by the time this video comes out, I'm pre-recording things like a couple weeks in advance or whatever, we're probably close to the end of ideal offseason at this point, so this is kind of a good culmination video right here. Let's just get talking about what every team kind of needs to be doing before the offseason gets going. But hey, before we do that, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I've responded to every single comment to my YouTube channel up to this point, and I intend to keep on doing so. Go watch the ideal offseason videos, the Do They Fit in the NBA series videos. I get the feeling this one's probably over by now, but ideal offseason might still be going on. We've got a lot of content coming out up until the draft, and then we'll start to slow down a little bit. But anyway, let's move on to the article. I'm actually really curious about where they're going to go with a lot of these. So the Hawks are up first. Like, let me just take a little shot in the dark, right? They're going to say they need to pick a direction or something like that, which is probably true. Atlanta Hawks finding a lane. I never read this stuff beforehand. I promise you guys I don't. Yeah, we don't need to read any of this stuff. Like, yeah, I get what they're saying. The Atlanta Hawks are in this interesting spot because they've got a really, really elite basketball player in Trae Young, right? He's got his deficiencies or whatever, but overall Trae Young, very good basketball player. They've also got this interesting kind of group of young players going on. You throw Dyson Daniels in there, Risa Shea, Jalen Johnson, maybe count a Kongwu or whatever. I think people are a little bit uncomfortable, and me as well, about what the direction of this team is going, and I tend to agree that I don't completely know, but I'm not at the point where I'm like, okay, this team needs to like pick a lane and like do something, like, because they do have a lot of good basketball players. The East doesn't figure to be that great this next year, and they should have an overall just like competitive roster on a night-to-night basis. So, and you've got a talent like Trae Young. I think it's easy to just say you should trade people like this, and I'll suggest it when I think it's appropriate. But overall, when it comes to people like Trae Young, it's hard to just give up on a guy like that, right? Yes, the defense isn't like great. It's never going to be great. Like, we're not smart by saying that, right? He's just going to be outsized more often than not. I love the effort that he gave this year on the defensive end. I thought that was awesome. It's just going to be a deficiency of his at times. And so overall, I don't think they need to this season. I think you run it out with this roster at least this season, and then maybe after this one you make a decision. But for the time being, I'd like to see what this group can do. The Boston Celtics. Oh yeah, I probably could have guessed what this one is too. Yeah, financial hurdles, right? We talked about it in the ideal offseason video for the Celtics. They just need to save money, basically. How the NBA luxury tax works is every single year that you're in it, the interest compounds. So each year you pay more and more and more and more and more until you get out of it for a year and reset it or whatever. It might actually be longer than that. Can we confirm that really quick? To reset the clock. I'm not a CBA expert. I always forget. Yes, being out of the NBA's luxury tax for 2 consecutive seasons resets it. I always forget about that, and then I get reminded of it when I'm in some meetings with some people, and I'm like, oh shit, that's right. So yeah, this team just needs to cut a bunch of salary, right? They need to get below the luxury tax so they can kind of start that clock over again. We did the ideal offseason, and we were able to do it by getting rid of Kristaps, Drew, and like Sam Hauser. We held on to like Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Jason Tatum, and Brown, and we still had a solid roster like after the fact. So it's definitely doable, and like those are desirable players to an extent. So I think it'll be interesting. Obviously, they're missing out on a little bit of leverage just because of the Jason Tatum injury, and they're like, look, we all know you guys just financially have to do this, so kind of is what it is. But yeah, that's the decisions they're going to have to make this offseason. It's the price of the new CBA, which I think is kind of interesting. Yes, we're missing out on, dynasty teams like this to an extent of just keeping them all together, but I think it's bringing some balance to the NBA. At the time of recording this, the finals hasn't even started, and it's cool to see some new teams in there. The Brooklyn Nets extracting value. Yeah, I think I know what they mean by this. So this season was, actually, it does look like they're kind of saying what I was about to say. Well, the Nets played the same 82-game regular season as everyone else. They arguably accomplished as little in those contests as anyone. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Like, the point of this last season should have been to just lose as many games as possible. Going into the season, we said on this channel, I think they're going to actually be competitive on a night-to-night basis, just looking at the roster they currently have, and they were. turns out that coach did a pretty good job as well. So shout out, it's Coach Fernandez, right? I'm so bad with names. I can picture the man, I just can't remember the names, and this is how I am with everybody, man. I promise you, I am. I come up with nicknames before I remember people's actual names for people. It's just a deficiency of mine. But yeah, so they didn't get the top pick. It doesn't seem like they're going to get that like 1A guy that they hope to kind of build around. And so what was kind of the point of everything, right? Not much. You've got Cam Johnson, you've got Nick Claxton. They're valuable players that it would have made sense to keep them if you got that 1A option, but now you didn't. So now the question's in the air of, do you move those guys? The answer is probably yes, because you just need to ensure that you lose games, and you probably will regardless, but there's just no point in holding on to these assets at this point, right? Hopefully you can find somebody else. I mean, you don't have a young guy that you're currently all that interested in. Cam Thomas is the most interesting thing, and look, he's a one-dimensional player at most. Like, we've seen a lot of guys like this in the NBA. We kind of know the story at this point. I'm not saying he doesn't have value in the NBA. It's just like, that's nothing to write home about necessarily. He gets buckets, though. Dude gets buckets. I won't take that away from him, but there's a lot more to basketball than bucket getting. Just ask your boy AVC, Mr. Assist Leader. That's me. But anyway, by the way, my Elite Pickup League starts up again soon. At the time you guys are saying this, it's a new season. I'm playing on like a brand new team or whatever. Apparently there's some pretty good bodies in this league again, because like NBA players are on break now and some of them are going to be in town, which is kind of sick. So your boy's looking forward to it. But anyway, Brooklyn Nets, they got to find some value somewhere. They just got to get something of value. Maybe it's Kuminga or something. I don't know. The Charlotte Hornets, more creation. Okay, tell me about that. The Hornets were just bad at about everything last season. Yep, they weren't very good, but their offense was especially abysmal. That's correct. Numbers say so. They were wait, what is it? They landed 29th in offensive efficiency and were only one spot higher in assists to turnover ratio. I mean, yeah, they got a lot of young players. They play a pretty radical style of offense most of the time, so that last stat makes at least a little bit of sense to me. Losing LaMelo Ball obviously doesn't help. He was a lot of your offense, and even when he was out there, he wasn't very efficient for most of the season. Brandon Miller obviously goes down as well, and it's just kind of a shitty team out on the basketball court at that point, for less of a better term, or for lack of a better term, excuse me. So yeah, I feel like you could just sum this up to, you just need to put more talent on them. At the time you guys are seeing this, the Charlotte Hornets ideal offseason should be out, and we focused a lot more on just trying to get like some creation and get some vets on the team and try to help this team win some games, because this organization's been abysmal for forever now, right? It's been bad. They're not even making the playoffs like in recent memory, right? They've just sucked for forever now. And we always say on this channel, you got to win some games to win some games. Look at the Detroit Pistons. Once you kind of get that going, you start to wake everybody else up that's kind of been dead for a while, and then you can start going. So I think next year is the year that you kind of have to do it with this group to see what's going on. I'm holding out hope for this new front office, though. They seem like smart people. I don't know much about them. I don't have really any connections in there, but I'm curious to see what they do. Chicago Bulls, raising the ceiling. Yeah, that's 100% true. Like, there's just not, and I'm a Bulls fan, right? So you guys can hear me complain about this for a little bit. There's just not like a future right here. Yes, I know AK for the Bulls said like, yep, we're not going to be mediocre or whatever. That's not what we're doing anymore, because they've been the 10 seed like 8 out of the last 9 seasons. That's so stupid. Like please just bottom out this next season. That's all I'm asking for. Like, you just need to go get that top end talent, because top end talent doesn't hit free agency anymore. They're never interested in coming to Chicago anyway, so please just go find us a top 10 or a top tier draft pick and just let us go get it, right? Like, that's all I really want. You look at the current core that they keep trying to pitch to everybody of Giddey, Kobe White, and Buzelis. I think Kobe White's a good NBA player. I don't think he's got some great potential. I think Josh Giddey's going to be a really nice player in the league for a long time. Not sure he's going to be like an all-star or anything like that. I honestly put money that he probably won't be, right? But I think he's a really good basketball player. And then Buzelis, I'm just going to be honest with you guys, I'm just not that big on this prospect overall. I get he's athletic and I get he's fun, but I mean, I don't know, it feels like a long way to go in developing some of the other areas. I'm rooting for him really hard. I hope you guys know that, and I'm not saying it's impossible by any means. I'm just telling you in my expert opinion as someone that's done player development at this level and who's done a lot of the scouting and stuff. I'm just telling you what I know, right? but I'm sure some of you in your chairs back home that scored 1 point a game in high school basketball think otherwise. Anyway, yeah, the Bulls, they just need to get more upside. Really need to get more upside. Somehow, some way, gotta do it. Cleveland Cavaliers, increasing or at least maintaining depth. Yeah, it's going to be hard because they're in the same kind of financial boat that the Celtics are, so they got to drop some money. I can't imagine they're going to retain Ty Jerome. I think that's going to be a tough one to do. I think you're going to see like a Coro go, but you should be able to get some quality players after that. One extra big would probably be nice. I'm seeing some of the Darius Garland like trade rumors, and like I'm down to listen to it. I'm hesitant to trade really good players like that. And he's a really good player, so I've got to be really damn sure that I think that that's going to work if I'm going to do it. I think Donovan Mitchell's awesome. I think Mobley's awesome. I think Allen's awesome. I like what DeAndre Hunter has become. If I'm the Cavs, man, I'm just trying to run it back next year for the most part. Again, you're probably going to lose Ty Jerome, and that sucks. Hopefully, you can do some sort of sign and trade and get a little something back for him, but overall, yeah, you got to add some depth to this team. It doesn't necessarily need to be like an elite ball handler off the bench, probably just like another sizable wing, which is easier said than done. Those are pretty valuable for a reason. And then, yeah, you got to find another big for this rotation just so you have someone else out there. Hell, go get a Tony Bradley or something. At least he tried his ass off in the playoff series, but anyway, moving on to the Mavericks, covering for Kyrie. Yeah, this one's pretty simple. So Kyrie Irving is going to be out for majority of this season, but this team's trying to compete right now. Presumably, they're going to have Cooper Flag. Presumably, Mavericks fans, we hope so. I would be lying if I didn't say it would be hilarious if they somehow didn't end up with him. Just hilarious. I'm not even trying to kick you guys while you're down. It'd just be funny. I do feel bad for them fans themselves. But yeah, Kyrie's going to be out for a little bit, most of this season, so you need a point guard to cover for him. In the meantime, you've got Hardy on the roster, and like you could bring Dante Exum back. Those aren't really like the point guard options you want. Honestly, the Ty Jerome is one that we've drawn up before. The Kobe White we think is an interesting option. Colin Sexton maybe a little bit pricier, but some interesting options out there nonetheless. And you've got a bunch of like interesting players on the team that you can use in like a sign and trade for Ty Jerome. Again, we've drawn these up in ideal offseason. I think it's some interesting things they can do because they have a lot of like excess depth at other positions, so it's probably worth balancing out the roster to some extent. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense for Dallas. Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic's supporting cast. Yeah, it's rough. Nuggets fans, here's what you should know, right? You guys took the Thunder, who we see how good they are, right? We all see how good these Oklahoma City Thunder are, and maybe at the time you guys are watching this, that maybe they're already spanking Indiana. Maybe I'm going to look really stupid saying this or something like that, but that's kind of what I presume is going to happen. I'm rooting for Indiana for... I'm not here to talk about the finals right now, so I'm not going to get into it because, again, it's already happening at the time you guys are seeing this, but you guys took that team to 7, and Aaron Gordon like couldn't walk in like the last like game and a half or whatever, and Michael Porter Jr. couldn't lift his arms. So you guys are really close. You guys had no bench, and you're that close already. That's how good your first 5 is. And I think Westbrook, you bring him back. You just have to find a way to get 1 or 2 serviceable people, which you can get at a minimum to play around Jokic because Jokic makes people better. Just go into free agency, find some people. If you can find a way to get off the Zeke Naji contract, then fair enough. Like, I understand that Jamal Murray's not an all-star. I understand Michael Porter Jr. is not an all-star. I know Aaron Gordon isn't either. I know Christian Brown doesn't have enough confidence yet. He's still a young guy, but you're just so close. You're so close again, and you won a championship with this group. I'd try to keep that 5 together and just try to find some bench elsewhere. Maybe you have to trade a Peyton Watson to make it happen. Maybe you have to trade a Strother to make it happen, which I think is fine if it's going to be serviceable people. But I don't know. Maybe you can find a Brogdon or a Torian Prince. God damn it. It always scrolls up on Bleacher Report nowadays. It makes me so mad. But you guys are really close. Just remember how close you are. Detroit Pistons. Cade Cunningham's co-star. Interesting. Yeah, I suppose, like, we got to start asking that question at some point. It's certainly not an obvious answer right now if it's anybody on the team. Like, Jaden Ivey looked really good last year. I wouldn't say he looked like star good, but he was taking a good step. He's a young guy, right? So there's plenty of time to develop. Duran is good on one side of the ball, and he's starting to show an effort on the other side, but again, far from a star. Asar Thompson, probably not that dude. I hate to just cut people off when they're that young, but is what it is. So yeah, at some point you got to have that conversation because you're probably not going to have great draft picks going forward. And again, free agency is not really a thing anymore. So how are you going to get like some more talent around this guy? It's going to be a big question. Or is this going to turn into kind of a Jokic situation on a obviously like Jokic is way better than Cade, and that's nothing against Cade, right? But yeah, you got to support this guy. I hope that this team is mostly running it back this next year. Like throw Jaden Ivey in there. That's a big boost to the team in and of itself. I'm very curious. I'm very, very curious to see where they go. But I don't think you need to address the co-star thing this year. Do they suggest like anybody? The closest candidates were Tobias Harris. He was one of the worst contracts. That's because people are silly. And Malik Beasley, who was awesome last year. Perhaps a healthy Jaden Ivey could change the conversation some. Yeah. I hate when people like suggest things like that and then like don't actually give any ideas. So no, whatever. The Golden State Warriors support scoring. Yeah, you got to get a little bit more offense on this team, or at least somebody that can dribble the basketball. They went into the playoffs with one point guard on the roster. It's just flat out unacceptable. You just can't do that. As always, the Warriors are going to do their style of basketball so long as Steph Curry is on the basketball team. Which, like, look, you do what you do to support your best players, right? That's totally fair. I wish the Warriors could adapt it a little bit so that other people could fit here, because we've seen like Kuminga just doesn't really fit, like Moody just doesn't really fit. Quentin Post actually does, because he's really smart and knows how to play within their system, so that's great. I'm happy for him, but you got to find some scoring elsewhere. I don't know exactly what it is. I would love to see like a Domantas Sabonis addition to this team somehow, some way. But I think it's going to be hard to add that level of talent because they don't have like phenomenal assets. Presumably Kuminga will be gone in some sort of sign and trade, so maybe you can get something back. Maybe it's a Cam Johnson or something like that. I feel like Cam Johnson's going to go more so for draft capital though, so I don't know. I just like to see some more scoring on this team, and I think that would make a lot of sense. Because Butler struggled to consistently summon his playoff Jimmy form. I think it's so silly how we're like, all right, Jimmy Butler, time to go get us 40 every night or whatever, like you always do. It's like, dude, he's got nobody out there with him. Like it's him and Buddy Hield just trying to get it done out there, and Pods was out there trying to rip and get towards like the free throw line and pull up for some middies every once in a while. It was not going to happen. Again, Kuminga did play good again, because once Steph Curry went down, there's no offense left to play, so he can't mess anything up. It's just, okay, just go out there and hoop, and dude's a hooper, right? So he was able to do it. It's just probably not going to win you many games doing that, so I guess we'll see. Houston Rockets, a franchise focal point. I couldn't agree more with this one. I just don't know if they can actually address it this offseason. Like, basically what they're saying is this team built themselves in a really weird way. Normally when you're kind of going through a rebuild, you kind of wait until you find like that one dude. Otherwise you kind of just stay like lurking in the bottom, right? You don't start to build up until you got like that first dude, and then you're like, okay, this is going to be the supporting piece around him, then the supporting piece. Now we start to grow, right? Now we start to grow. They went and found all these interesting young people, and none of them so far have kind of turned out to be one that seems like they're going to be that 1A option. I think they were hoping it was going to be Jalen Green, and it hasn't really worked out. And so now you're kind of just like, okay, where's this going? Because we've got all this talent on the team. It's just, as we saw in the playoffs, who do you give the ball to? We weren't really sure. We don't have that guy on the team. I know the Durant rumors are a thing. I know the Giannis rumors are a thing. Devin Booker seems like the most logical fit, but is he going to ever become available? Well, you're playing a losing game if you're hoping for stuff like that, right? So I don't know. I think that's going to be an interesting one, because again, they've built this team in not like a poor way, because they did accumulate a good amount of talent, but it's just like, okay, you don't really have that guy, so you might win some regular season games, but then come playoff time when people really have time to strategize for you, they were like, okay, well, yeah, we just do like this type of defense and you guys have nothing to do. And that's what happened. So I guess we'll see. I hope that like a Jalen Green or a Men Thompson or Şengün just become that guy, but for the time being, we don't know. Indiana Pacers, more defensive protection. What does that mean exactly? The Pacers will be en route, blah, 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 to the championship. Maybe there's an if it ain't broke, don't fix it argument with this formula. Yeah, the Pacers are just like ultimate gimmick right here. They're just like, if we just play fast enough and keep scoring, we'll never have to play defense, and it's kind of working. Those teams actually are like extremely dangerous. I remember learning about that when I was younger or whatever, and from some coaches, they were like, look, man, these are the teams you got to be afraid of, because if the engine starts revving on it and you can't really slow it down then, because they're just flowing, they're just going to outscore you, because it's easier to be better at offense than it is defense. So that's what's going to happen. But yeah, like they probably want to have some more defense on the team, right? Miles Turner's free agency. He's going to stay put. Yeah, he always stays put. Miles Turner never actually goes anywhere. If he does return, it's worth noting that sacrifices might need to be made elsewhere unless this historically tax-adverse organization is suddenly willing to pay that price. Spoiler alert, it won't be. Maybe we'll see, man. After you make the finals, sometimes they open up the piggy bank a little bit more. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, a little bit more defense, maybe another defensive center after Miles Turner. They've been kind of going between Thomas Bryant and Tony Bradley as of this moment. So we'll see. We will certainly see. I was really anxious to see James Wiseman on the court with this team. I thought this was going to be his chance to kind of fit in, but I guess we don't know. The Clippers, more firepower. How much more do you want? You got Kawhi, James Harden, Norm Powell. Zubats was great. Like, you had Bogey. Tell me what else. The expectation-crushing campaign may have given the Clippers a new lease on life. By the way, we should say the Clippers fought the Nuggets hard. The Nuggets fought the Thunder hard. Like, in all honesty, those might have been the three best teams, like, in the West, like, this year. It just so happened that they played each other, like, a lot earlier. Because I think the Clippers were a really good team this year. I believe they were, like, the best NBA team post-All-Star break, were they not, in terms of, like, some plus-minus stuff? Maybe I'm tripping about that, and March and April basketball usually skews statistics a bunch anyway, so maybe that's just not a good statistic for me to use. But overall, once Kawhi was back, like, Harden was doing his thing, and I know he floundered again in the playoffs. Yeah, it's a problem, right? It's certainly a problem at this point, but I don't know how much more firepower you can get. Like, Norm had an awesome season, borderline all-star. I feel like they've got some dudes. I really do feel like they've got some dudes, despite having 3 20-point scores and Bogey. Stingy defense can only carry a team so far. I think it can. I disagree with this one. I think you run this team back and just see what happens, man. I think you see what happens. You just never know. The Lakers, the center position. Yep, this is clear. We've all watched everything, and as fun as it was to see Jackson Hayes kind of start to rise up to the occasion, probably not going to be back in the team next year. At least it doesn't seem like it. They'll address a center so fast, it's not even going to be funny, right? Just because they know they need to, and they want to keep the team motivated, going in the right direction. Luka needs a lob threat center. They're going to find him a lob threat center. Who's it going to be? I don't know. It's probably not going to be Mark Williams is the short answer, right? They could probably use 2. I know we've said, like, Goga Batadze, maybe Clint Capella is one of them. I've seen, like, Brooke Lopez get drawn up. That doesn't feel like the right solution to me necessarily. I don't think they can even, like, afford a Sabonis or something like that. It's got to be more of a discount option, if you would. Nick Claxton, maybe. Then you have to give up, like, guys like Rui, and I think Rui were so good for them. So I feel like there's better ways to go about it. Overall, though, like, you got a great core. You got Luka, you got LeBron. Austin Reeves just keeps getting better, man. I think he's awesome. I know some people have defensive concerns about him and Luka in the front or in the back court. I'm not tripping about it too much because this team showed how good defensively they can be at times without having any center presence, which means that you have to take more risks and stuff because you don't really have the rim protection to back it up should something happen. But I don't know. I want to see what this team's able to do with a full offseason and a more competent roster. The Grizzlies, the wing rotation. Yeah, this team's been looking for a wing for forever, man. Forever we've been looking for, like, a sizable wing for this team, and they just can't find one. And they need a true center as well, almost certainly. I know some people will come in and be like, if you see they have Zach Edey. Nice role player, right? Going to be a nice role player in the NBA. Doesn't feel like he's going to be much more than that, at least from my evaluation. I've talked to a couple other people about it as well, and they were like, and these were even people that were kind of high on Edey. They're like, ABC, you were kind of right about that one. Like, I think he is a little bit more gimmicky with things, and I'm like, yeah, like, he could do a couple simple things to get a lot better, but it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like... I don't need to get into it right now. That's not what we're doing right now. The wing rotation, though. We need a sizable wing on this team. For what DeAndre Hunter went for, I can't believe they weren't able to end up with him for how many, like, assets they have on this team. This team has, like, so many, like, other guys that they could trade that they just don't need on this roster, and they just have to find a way to do better at building out on some of the positions that they're missing, like that wing spot and that center spot. I don't even think you have to give up anybody all that great to do it. If you want to take a swing at a KD or something, then yeah, obviously you're going to give up a little bit more, and I think that would be pretty cool to see Kevin Durant on this team. Jalen Wells, we'll see if he gets any better, right? He was really fun last season. I personally think there's kind of a... Again, I don't want to limit young players, but in my evaluation of him, I see a certain cap, and I'm not saying it's going to be like a problem necessary, but like just don't expect like this dude to score like 20 points a game or something like that, right? So I don't know, but yeah, they need a wing. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Miami Heat, the overall attack, so just like offense in general, the Heat have been hurting on the offensive end for years now, and for all the feathers Jimmy Butler rubbed the wrong way during his prolonged departure, it's not like their offense improved when he was effectively swapped out for Wiggins. Well, yeah, you lost your best player, that's just what was going to happen. If you see, Jimmy Butler was not our best player. Just go look in the mirror really quick. Go look in the mirror. You're a dum-dum, okay? Tell yourself you're a dum-dum, okay? Anyway, yeah, no, they need to make some changes. Got to help out at the point guard spot or whatever, because as great as Hero was this year, he was really, really good. It feels like he's still just better without the basketball or as the secondary guy. Dude was able to get some buckets this year, but he can't really get his team involved all that well. The Heat's offense has just looked rough. And again, they've been kind of struggling by not having a point guard on this team for some time now. It feels like since Dragic has been gone, like they've been struggling. So hopefully they're able to find it. Not exactly sure how. Like, I think Davion Mitchell's a good backup and a nice Heat culture guy, right? But I think you just need to go find a little bit more somehow. Just a nice point guard to steer the ship would be great, because you can't really afford like a Drew Holiday or something like that. I don't know. You'll have to do some thinking as to who that's going to be. Milwaukee Bucks, the discord around Giannis Antetokounmpo. Oh, they didn't even pick a side with the article. That's maniacal. That's something. Well, yeah, it's gonna get figured out, of course. What it should be saying is like find a way to keep Giannis, right? Because you don't want to lose Giannis. If you're a Bucks fan and you want to lose Giannis, I'm going to guess that you're like under the age of 16 and your brain hasn't fully developed yet, because you've only been around to like really experience Giannis. Your franchise has been dog shit outside of Giannis pretty much. It just hasn't been good. This is kind of it. You might not find another Giannis for 40, 50 years in all honesty, because players like this are so uncommon. You want to keep him around. I know it's going to be a hard position right now. I am not saying that it's not. You guys are in a shitty situation. And I hope he stays around. Or I should just say I hope he does what he wants to do, right? Because Giannis just seems like such a cool dude. My business partner knows him really well. And so I don't know about really well, but well enough. He's been around him in a coaching capacity for a decent amount of time, so I won't speak on their relationship any more than that. But overall, like, it seems like a guy that just deserves it all, and I'd be happy to see him kind of stick it out here. I think that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, you guys got to find a way to support him and keep him around. We tried to do some stuff in Ideal Offseason for it, and kind of put a band-aid on it more than anything, but should keep him competitive. So I guess we'll see. And if they need to move him, well, that is what it is then. Hopefully you go call the Spurs up and get like that second overall pick and some other things. Timberwolves covering any gaps created in free agency. I think you guys are going to be fine overall. Like, it's Nickeil Alexander-Walker and it's Naz Reid. We'll see what happens with Randall. If I'm the Timberwolves, I'm telling Randall, you better not opt out, dog, because we're not giving you the long-term contract that you're looking for. There's an ambulance going by. Thought I could make it through the whole video. Well, I couldn't because ambulances always go by. Yeah, if I'm the Timberwolves, I'm telling Randall, you better not opt out of that contract. I'm not giving you a long-term one. I just wouldn't do it. I think you want to keep flexibility, and I think there's a good chance that after this next season, the Timberwolves do kind of like a soft retool around a prime Anthony Edwards. We have to remember how young this guy is, right? Where they can kind of build a team that's more custom fit to his needs than what are currently there. So that way you're kind of waiting out the Gobert contract, right? Julius Randle one. I think you bring Naz Reid back almost for sure, and you'll be able to do that with how the cap figures work out. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, on the other hand, that one's a lot harder, and I think you can afford to give him up because we've now discovered that Terrence Shannon Jr. is good at basketball. Congratulations, Minnesota. It was there the whole time. You just didn't see it. You got to address the point guard spot, that's for sure, at least in the short term. I wouldn't go after something completely long term, but again, just try to be competitive this next year and go from there. I don't think you're going to have too many holes after free agency, though. You should still be a really good team this next season. Moving on to the Pelicans interior defense. So at the time of recording this, some stuff is going on with Zion. What else is fucking new? Apparently, some not so fun stuff. Again, as I always say, I'm gonna hope that none of it is true and that everybody is okay. But look, innocent until proven guilty. 100%. But yeah, let's hope that's not the case. I genuinely don't know what to do with this team, and honestly, this team probably doesn't know what to do until they figure out that that Zion stuff, right? It's just going to be a hindrance. I still have to record a Pelicans ideal offseason. That's the next one on my list that I have to do today, and I don't know what I'm going to do for that because I don't know what direction to go with this team. Like, is Zion going to be on the court or is he not? It's such a hard conversation, and now the people are going to be like, "See, I told you should have traded Zion." Shut up. Just shut up. You didn't know that any of that was going to happen. If you did, you're a sicko. Like, actually a bad person. But anyway, I don't know. This organization will be in an interesting spot. Overall, are they going to make any moves? I don't know, man. You might just stay put if you're this team and just kind of wait it out. It's unfortunate, but true. You do have some interesting young players you could throw out there. Like, I think Yves Missy's cool. I like Hawkins a lot. Like, we love Trey Murphy. Love to see him turn into something else. I don't know. You got some pieces, man. It's just, can you get big man on the court? Guess we'll see. The Knicks, finding more reserves who Thibs will trust. Well, at the time of recording this, Thibs has been fired just a couple hours ago, so there you go. If I can touch on that just really quick, I am surprised by that. I think Tom Thibodeau earned more time than what was given here. Like, let's be honest, like, Tom Thibodeau is a really good NBA coach. He took this team and this franchise off the ground, and he's only given them success so far, right? I know it's not ultimate success, but he's given them success. He's really good in his game planning. He's really good at adjusting during games. Like, his ATOs and stuff are all great. He is a strategic basketball mind. It's the rotation, right? It's the stubbornness. It's the, I'm only going to play these couple guys. But what we kind of saw in the playoffs is, like, he did make an adjustment. He started playing more people. I think you had enough good things with Thibodeau to be like, hey, let's give him a shot or whatever, to just try to change that. And we just need to sit him down and say, dude, you have to play more people or whatever. But what I'm guessing happened is more so they were talking to the people internally, and I'm just speculating right now as to why something like this would happen. I'm guessing the players were getting a little fed up with it. We've all heard the Thibodeau stories of, like, how his practices are so difficult and all these other things, right? Funny enough, I know a dude that's played for him pretty well, and he was like, he doesn't call me AVC because that's not what people call me, but he was like, AVC, man. He's like, the rumors are real. That, like, Joakim Noah, Kyle Korver story was true, man. Like, this shit's crazy. So it is what it is. I'm guessing they were just kind of getting a little bit sick of it, right? And they're like, look, we do try our asses off. So I don't know. I'll be curious to see who they fill it in with. This feels like a prime opportunity for, like, a Mike Malone, especially since the Spurs job got filled so quickly. So guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. But yeah, they do need to find more bench players overall as well. Because, like, look, in all fairness, the bench was not very good. You had Deuce and you had Mitchell Robinson once he came back. After that, like, Landry Shamet was okay. I didn't want Cameron Payne out there at all. But what else were you gonna do, right? And I don't want to hear the Pacome Daddiers and the Tyler Koleks. Like, I actually think Tyler Kolek will be maybe serviceable by next year. Daddier, I'm not so sure about. But I promise you, those two players were not ready to play any minutes. I promise you, they were not ready. But anyway, yeah, those are some of the moves they need to make. Oklahoma City Thunder, volume shooting. There's not many things this team needs overall, so yeah, fair enough. I would just say, like, a sizable forward, because maybe they run into that problem eventually. They're really not going to run into that problem with Indiana, so they kind of lucked out with that one again. But I don't know. Just keep doing what you're doing. Oh, yeah, it says this one is a little nitpicky, but there's only so many problems to diagnose with one of the history's greatest teams. Yeah. Fair enough, right? Honestly, I don't want to spend any more time on this. Thunder, you guys are steering the ship perfectly. You don't need AVC to tell you anything. None of these organizations need AVC to tell them anything. Like, I hope you guys don't think I'm smarter than these people. I'm definitely not. Everybody that's running these things have, like, law degrees. I've been studying this for forever, man. And yes, they do dumb things sometimes, but, like, overall, those people are a lot smarter than you and I. They just are. That's why AVC's here, but they do pay me money to do things sometimes. So, you know, it is what it is. That sounded kind of sexual. I'm not going to lie, and I'm sorry about that. I don't know why that sounded like that. We're just going to move on to Franz and Paolo, who look like they're holding hands right now. By the way, the new Magic jerseys dropped. I get their throwback, but they're still not quite throwback. I wasn't a huge fan of the new Magic stuff. Like, I like these, like, a little bit better. I like when teams go retro, but I feel like they didn't quite do it right. Mind you, No, I have no sense of style. I wear the same like fucking like shirts or whatever, just like all the time. My wife tells me I got no style, and they're all right. No sense. I got fire shoe game though. I promise you, I got fire shoe game. That's all I can do. The new Orlando logo though, I don't like that one at all. Don't like it at all. It's not as bad as those Utah Jazz like Sharpie jerseys that they had for a while there, but no bueno, no bueno. If we can just like you guys are here. You're just kicking it with me right now. Hopefully you're just doing some work or eating some food or something, right? We're kicking it right now with AVC. If I can just stay off topic for just a second more, like let me know in the comments. Am I the only one that's just sick of certain teams being named certain things? The Utah Jazz need to give that name back to New Orleans, right? I think that has to happen. Like, let Utah name themselves something else. No, it won't be the Mormons, but we need something else, like the Mountaineers or something like that, or the Range, something like that. What other teams need to like change their names or something like that? I don't know. We're like the Lakers to Minnesota would be cool, but like it's too well established at this point. And just some teams just need to get better uniforms. They just do. Like the Washington Wizards, ew, yeah, like they need to be something else. But yeah, overall, let's talk about this. The Magic, it's simple. They need people that can score and dribble the basketball, right? Everybody else on this team is a lengthy, lockdown defensive player. They just don't really have like true shot creators on this team. They need some. You can't just build a. We said this going into the season on this channel. If you just inbreed all of your players and you all have the same thing, it's really easy to beat you in the playoffs then. And that's what happened. You need diversity on your team. You just do. It's like anything in life. Diversity is important, kids. Diversity is important. Is that a political statement, AVC? I don't know. You figure that shit out. But anyway, yeah, get some shooting, get a point guard. Anthony Simons it is. There we go. The Philadelphia 76ers front court depth. Yeah. I mean, what does this say? Does that say stay cool? Fair enough. Yeah, you're running this team back, man. Let's figure out if they're going to be good. They were all hurt last season, so you can't really make any assessments on them. And is Embiid potentially going to get hurt again? Potentially, man. It's probably like I can't say. I'm not a doctor, but it seems likely that he would get hurt again. So yeah, you need some center help, and it's probably not going to be Andre Drummond. And again, like Drummond wasn't like bad last year, just didn't seem like he was quite in shape, and maybe they just kind of quit on the season at a certain point with Embiid and Paul George gone. Right, Maxey wasn't playing a ton. McCain had went down as well. Jesus Christ, yeah. Now that I think about it, man, that was scary. But it was great to see Quentin Grimes and Yabusele getting buckets out there for them at times. So yeah, you just need some front court depth. That's understandable. I think Bona is a guy that you might be able to throw out there a little bit next year. I wouldn't bank on it too much. I don't know who else you're necessarily going to get, because as always, there's not many centers to go around for a reason, because there's not that many people that big. So I don't know. They got to do something, though. But overall, just run it back with this squad, man. Let's see what we can do. The East is wide open. East is wide open. The Phoenix Suns, clarity with Kevin Durant. They're going to trade him. Like, it's fine. I have to imagine, like, KD's not going to go for as much as you think he's going to go for. And here's kind of the reason, like, why. One, it's important for you guys to realize economics is a big thing in the NBA. If you don't understand econ, you're probably not going to judge things in the NBA very well, because it's a very economic-based system. Things have ebbs and flows to their value. One of them is, like, draft picks right now. Draft picks are at, like, an all-time high in value right now, so it's very, very hard to get them. You're probably not going to get a ton for KD. Still one of the best players out there, but you're just not going to get as many for him. He's older. It's toward the end of his career, right? But you're still getting an elite player. So just know. They're also going to try to probably move him, I'm going to guess, while or before the Giannis stuff, just so they can kind of get rolling with other shit. But that's going to be hard, because most teams are going to want to wait for the top domino to fall before the rest of them. But hopefully someone's smart enough to take advantage of that. But yeah, Phoenix, just go get some role players to help out Devin Booker, keep them competitive so that you can keep Devin Booker around. That's what I would do. Portland Trailblazers, parting with the obvious trade candidates. Yeah, it's so obvious. Like the Jeremy Grants, the DeAndre Aytons, the Anthony Simons, right? Who else am I missing? Like Rob Will, if you could. Like, just get them out of the way. We've said it so many times on this channel. This team's got like this really interesting young core that I fear could be kind of Houston Rocketsy, where it doesn't have that one dude, but let's just see. Get Scoot Henderson out there. We've seen enough of the flashes. It is there. Like, somebody needs to actualize it, because Portland always develops their talent poorly. They just always do. And so we need to help him over there. We need to. I'm down to see more Shaden Sharp. I'm personally not a huge believer, but I'm down to see more of it because I saw some flashes of it this last season. Kamara's really cool. I like Kamara. Let's keep developing him. Denny's awesome. I like Denny. Let's throw him out there. And Klingon seems cool. Get those 5 motherfuckers out there. Let them play. And get DeAndre Ayton off the court. Scoot Henderson can't play next to DeAndre Ayton. How many times you guys see it? He just picks and then sits at the free throw line, and then Scoot's got nowhere to go. Move. Move, bitch. But anyway, yeah, move on from those guys. Come on, Portland. Sacramento Kings, a bigger window. I don't think you guys have any window left. I'm going to keep it real. I think you guys tried your best, and now you're back into this poverty franchise. We kind of just know this team isn't going to work. It's fun. It's a fun group. Levine gets buckets. DeRozan gets buckets. They're fun. I love the energy of Sabonis. I think this team just needs a hard reset. I think by the time that they correct all the other errors that this roster has, it's going to be too late for some of these guys. So I think you just try to sell them off. Like, I really do think you should sell off Sabonis, and it's probably going to be hard to do Levine, and you'll be able to get something for DeRozan because his contract's not that bad. But yeah, you got to try to trade some things, and I don't know if anybody's like, nobody's probably untouchable on this roster, right? Very few people in the NBA are untouchable, but trying to think, like, I guess you hold on to like a Keegan Murray or something. Keon Ellis could get you something really good in a trade, so maybe that's not the worst thing to trade. I know Kings fans, you love Keon Ellis and you're very attached to him, but it's not going to be a difference maker like 6 years down the road to keep Keon Ellis through this process. You might as well just go get something. Again, economics. So yeah, this team just needs to have kind of a Brooklyn Nets season where they're tearing things down. That's what I would say. The Spurs, shooting shortage. Yeah, go get some shooters, because right now you're going to be playing De'Aaron Fox, who, you know, not always the greatest shooter. Stephon Castle, just flat out not a good shooter at times. I did have some good shooting moments, which was nice. I'm going to presume Dylan Harper's going to be on the team, who could or could not be a good shooter his first year. I guess we'll see. It's not like Harrison Barnes is any sniper at this point, and there's not much going on outside of Champagnie on the team for shooting. So yeah, go find some shooters to put around this team. I don't think you have to like mortgage anything to go do it, but just go find some consistent spacing to kind of help everyone else out, and yeah, I think you'll be good. Otherwise, I'm very curious to see this group. It's going to be an odd group, but Spurs are going to keep on doing their Spurs thing, and I'm sure they'll be great because of it. Alrighty, the Toronto Raptors building a building block big. So are they just saying draft Maluach? Is that what they're saying? The Raptors core appears to be coming together. Brandon Ingram still needs to prove he can stay upright. The Toronto Raptors coaching staff, blah, 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 blah. It's also pretty obvious Toronto needs more on the interior. Chris Boucher is headed to free agency. Jakob Poeltl's on the course to reach it next year. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it seems obvious that they're going to try to target Maluach or whatever. By the way, like, ideal offseason gives me a really interesting perspective. I shared this on the Discord at one point. I get to hear from all the fan bases just a little bit in my comments. This year, dumbest fan base goes to Toronto Raptors fans. You guys are the dumbest. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I can't wait for you guys to get on your phones and start clicking, UBC, you're fucking dumb or whatever. Yeah, okay. Good for you. Yeah, you got me there. You really got me, boss. But, man, so many of you guys are just delusional about holding on to some of your second round picks and shit like that. And you're like, we would never trade this guy. We would never trade this guy. They're the future. Whoa. Fucking relax a little bit, okay? And it's actually funny. I've personally seen 2 Toronto Raptors trades get offered already this offseason, and I'm not telling you if I'm with this team or I'm hearing it from another. I've just seen the offer. Your best players, or not your best players, your favorite players are not untouchable because they're the ones offering them up on a silver platter. I know what they want this offseason. Most people do. But we'll see what they end up being able to accomplish. Yeah, getting a center for them long term, probably a good idea. Makes some sense. Growing the talent base. Yeah, same thing as Brooklyn, right? It was just kind of a shitty season overall, that they actually tanked the right way, and they had a team ready for if they drafted somebody good. They were like, look, we've made the nursery for you, Cooper. We've got what you want as soon as you land here. And then they didn't get any of the 4. They didn't get any of the 4. They just wanted one of the 4, and they got none of them. And it's really shitty. I know they're on the lines a lot right now. Again, I get to hear things, right, which is fun. I know they're on the phone lines, and they're trying desperately to move up. It's not going very well for them from what I understand. Well, and obviously we wouldn't know quite yet if it has happened yet, but is what it is. I would have to imagine, though, that this team is going to be doing the same thing as Brooklyn. Is like, hey, let's see if we can buy low on some young talent and just try to suck again this year, man, because that's the only way that the Utah Jazz get better is if they draft well and build it up. And they're historically pretty good at it, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, Utah. We'll see. Finally, the Washington Wizards adding offense to the rebuild. Yeah, no, you got enough like interesting defensive prospects between Sarr, Koulibaly, Keyshawn George. If he keeps his effort up, will be good. I don't know about Bub Carrington. I guess we'll see. Again, you haven't found that kind of 1A option yet. I don't know if you're going to find it in this draft class either, considering where you're picking, which again is unfortunate. But hey, let's roll the young guys out there. I wouldn't stress about it too much. Like, I think just having like Chris Middleton, Marcus Smart for a full season is going to be good for these young guys, keeping them growing and moving in the right direction. You want to keep some vets around a team like this because they're all just very raw and not like obviously talented as like maybe some other young guys are. You can maybe have to squint a little bit harder to see it if you would, but there's some talent there. There really is. So I hope they can find something. By the way, when we were talking about uniforms, I fuck with these uniforms a lot. These were some of the coolest last year, in my opinion. If that's like a bad take, well, then we've confirmed the theory that AVC has no sense of style. So you know what? You can let me know that in the comments below or whatever. But anyway, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. As always, I like to do these kind of little sit-down videos and just kind of talk at you guys every once in a while. So yeah, it's fun. But anyway, go leave me a comment down below. I respond to every single one. But let's move on to the comments of the video. Alrighty, y'all. Comment to the video is coming from our Philadelphia 76ers ideal offseason here. As always, go watch them. They're the most popular series on the channel for a reason. I'm kind of the only one on YouTube doing little bits of content like this, so I think it's kind of a cool thing. But anyway, the comment to the video comes from literally the top comment on the last video from Castrum J23. He said, AVC supporter. That just sounds weird. It feels like I'm building a cult, and I am. But since the Golden State Warriors vid, Lamau, love watching these. So 14 days ago, you started watching. I just found that funny, and that's how I replied to it, or whatever. I was like, what does that mean, like a month? No, it's not even 2 weeks at the time of this. Again, thank you for the support. Like, I really mean it. The channel has grown a ton recently, and that was expected. I expected it to grow a ton during Ideal Offseason. That's what happened last year as well, and then it'll die off during the summer a little bit, and that's why you guys won't get, like, 9 to 10 videos. Like, I really tried to capitalize on this, like, busier time in the NBA season right now, and I think we've done a good job of that, and the channel's been growing. It's been awesome. But yeah, I just found this funny. But thank you seriously for watching. I'm glad that you've found a place that you like. As always, go check the links in the bio or whatever. Go join the Discord. Link is here. Please be mindful of the comment section rules or whatever, because there are a lot of new people coming to the channel, and then I have to end up hiding them because we're trying to establish a culture here, right? I don't want people just coming in and being like, video trash, it's mid, or excuse me, I'm doing the right thing. If you see this video is mid as fuck, man. I hate people that talk like that, man. This is I'm not gonna say it, but like I don't care. Like I just want this to be a place where people can talk basketball. I don't need this to be my primary source of income or anything, so I'll keep hiding, motherfuckers, man. I just want to have a good time with the people that want to have a good conversation. We can have different opinions, just talk about it, y'all. Some of y'all come on the internet so aggressive, man. It's like somebody's insulting your nana every video or something like that. That's an inside joke for those of you watching it. But anyway, appreciate you guys as always. Hope you guys are having a good week. Thanks so much. Bye.